All right, we are live. Good morning, Lori. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm Korinne Carpino, and unfortunately, Terry couldn't be with us today because she's teaching a workshop. So Lori and I are going to work on showing you how to mount your painting or collage, anything you might have, to a wood panel.
Okay.
So I'm going to point my camera down, and we'll get started. Okay. So I've got a couple things here. I've got a wooden panel and you can use any kind of wooden panel you want. I have a Da Vinci Pro panel. It's birchwood painting panel. But any brand is fine. This just happened to be what I had in the studio. And the first thing you're going to want to do is kind of check your panel and make sure it doesn't need to be sanded at all. This one actually is very nice, but sometimes you'll want to sand the edges and just make them nice and smooth. I like to use a golden product called GAC 100. It's an acrylic primer and extender, and I like to seal the panel with that. Some people don't do this, but I'm going to just pour a little bit of this on here. And it doesn't take too long to dry. I'm just using, I hate to wash this stuff out of the brushes. So I am just using a throwaway foam brush. And what this does is it seals the wood. So it helps, I think it helps the whatever we're using to attach our panel to the wood or artwork, whether it is um, modge podge or an acrylic medium, such as matte medium or gloss medium. You want to use something thick, at least as thick as the modge podge
Yes,
for glue.
right.
You
And
don't want to
I'm
use,
actually using Mod Podge today, so
okay, good.
yeah.
Um, so after I get this all sealed, it takes 10 or 15 minutes to dry. Um, This way the glue won't go or the whatever substance we're using to glue it on won't sink into the wood. And depending on what you're going to put on it, it also seals the wood so the wood grain can't come through if you had something clear in spots on it. So I'm going to set this one aside to dry. And I have one that is dried.
So I'm gonna
Uh,
go directly with mine, with the Mod
okay.
and glue directly because my piece here is it's not directly wood, it's like a laminated wood panel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's already sealed.
Good. So
And
I'm going to use, that's great. Yeah, if it was gessoed, I wouldn't have bothered. Or some of mine have, some of the panels I have a smooth, ultra smooth gesso finish. The Da Vinci makes them, and so I wouldn't bother to seal that either. So I'm going to just take a little bit of acrylic matte medium. Now you can, as Lori's doing, you can spread it with a brush. I'm going to just spread mine with a very large palette knife. The big thing is you want to make sure you get all the way to the edges. Otherwise, your painting's going to come up. So I'm going to get all the way to the edges. Lori, you're ahead of me. And
okay. I skipped that first step.
yeah, that's okay. Get this out and done. Now I'm using a small panel. That's what I had available today. And unfortunately, my collages that we worked on this month are not finished because I had some weeks I couldn't participate. So mine is still in progress. But when I finish that, I will post it on the website and on Facebook in the group. All right, so I have a nice smooth layer here. If I have extra, it doesn't matter because I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do. But I'd rather have a little bit too much than too little. Okay. I'm happy it's all the way to the end. I'm just going to take a paper towel here and wipe this off for now. Otherwise, this will just dry on here and I'll be in trouble. Okay. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for just a second. And I have here I have my cutting mat. And so I found this painting in my stash. It's an acrylic painting that I did a long time ago. And it is a little bit bigger than 5 by 7. And this mat is slightly bigger than 5 by 7 because I think my husband cut this for me and it was a little bit big. So I'm just going to kind of use the viewfinder here to figure out what I want of this painting. I think I like it right there. Um, and I'm just going to make a mark. I have a white pencil, just kind of make a mark. It's a little bit big anyway, a little bit bigger than the panel. And I'm going to start by trimming my painting down. Now I'm going to leave, as I said, it's a little bit bigger than the panel, so I have a little bit of overhang. So sometimes these panels aren't exactly squared, although they look like it. So I have to stand up to do this. I'm just going to take, you could use an X-Acto knife. I'm just using box cutter. I'll get a little more pressure on this. And I'm just going to trim this down. Yeah, well, luckily that's going to hang over because I got a little oops there. Let's try and do it sitting down. All right. So my painting is trimmed. And as I said, I tend to like a little bit of overhang and I can take it off later. Okay, we'll get rid of that. All right, I'm going to bring my panel back. And make sure I'm in my camera here. I like to kind of line up one edge at least, or two edges with the edge of the panel. And make sure that they're nice and even. Okay. And then just going to press that down, make sure it's even on. So I have an overhang now, which is fine on the other two edges so that I can be sure it's lined up. I'm going to take a piece of wax paper. Boy, I'm not sure if you do the same thing, but I'm going to take wax paper and just put it over the top.
That's a good idea.
And I'm going to use, this is a old brayer that I kind of, it's clean, even though it says paint on it, but I kind of save it for this. So I know it's clean. And I'm just going to roll from the middle outwards all the way. And I want to make a nice firm contact between the paper, and this is watercolor paper that this is painted on, and the panel. If some of that medium comes out, it's okay, because I'll just wipe it off with a paper towel. So I'm just going to do that a couple times from the middle out. You can, it's probably hard to see on camera. Some of that medium is kind of squishing out the sides. Okay. I'm going to carefully take this off so that I don't get any medium on the painting. I'm going to pull this in half. And I have a little piece of paper towel here. I'm just going to carefully wipe the medium that's squished out off the edges. Make sure it's nice and clean. And I'm going to turn this over. Put it back on the clean part of the wax paper. And if I had any medium, it looks pretty good. If I had any excess medium squish out on this side, I'll just take that off. Is that similar to what you do, Lori?
Yeah, and I'll use, I don't always use like a wax paper. I'll use like another piece of paper, and then and
Uh-huh.
if it's heavy like the one I'm working with now, I usually have to like set a book on it to dry.
Yes. So I like to turn mine over to dry. And so this is looks like it's attached pretty well. So I'll turn it over, and then I have a bunch of books that I'll set on it to dry. Some people dry them face up, some people dry them face down. For whatever reason, I always dry them face down.
Yeah, I think you get a better connection that way.
Face down.
Yes, at least
Yeah.
I like it. And
So
then
I'm going to move this to the side so this can sit off the to the side and dry. And usually I'll leave them overnight. What about you, Lori?
Definitely overnight, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually for me, it ends up being several days before I even get back to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So it's particularly important to make sure that you have that really good bond. So in the beginning, when I started doing this, every once in a while I didn't have um medium in a small little spot on the wood, and you get a bubble. So I learned quickly to be very careful. So this is one that's already dry. I let this sit overnight. You can see I've got a little bit of trimming to do here, and I've got to trim down this side. So I'm going to get my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to leave this on the wax paper. It doesn't matter, just so that I can not, well, actually, yeah, so I can not have it sitting on this cutting mat. And I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife and run it right along the wood. Now, when you do this, be very careful because it's easy to cut into the wood, and you don't want to do that. I'm just gonna pull this right out because there was just a little tiny bit, just trim back on that side. And then I'm going to come down, hold the X-Acto knife. Actually, I usually do it with this knife. A little bit more pressure, but whatever works for you. And I'm just going to slowly, I'm hanging on and pressing down on the wood. I'm just going to slowly pull this nice sharp, and make sure your knife is really sharp. Don't use a dull blade for this. And it may take a couple of times because am going through whatever glue is on the edge, or I should call medium that's on the edge. I'll just take that side off. And I'm going to do it once more and take this side off. And so this works for any kind of paper. For people that are working on a synthetic paper, it works on for that as well. Okay, that looks good. Now I do have a couple little spots that aren't smooth on this paper. And so what I will do is, let me make sure I have a file in here. I used to. I'm going to go get a file. I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'll just tell you guys what I've done. So I didn't prepare ahead of time like Korinne did and have multiple stages already done. So while my other book was drying, I decided to do two different panels. And this one I just kind of have an abstract. This is actually a gel print that I've done that I'll probably do some work on top of, but I want to use it as the background. And I actually have one of these easel back things
Oh,
that
neat.
yeah, you can get them at Dollar Tree.
Uh-huh.
I think you can still get them at Dollar Tree. That's where I got mine. And
Okay.
so now I'm just trimming this piece off around the edge. It's a little tricky because you've got
The
these little
easel back, right.
yeah, but you can work around that.
Okay, so I had a couple little spots, probably because this is watercolor paper, that I just want to trim off. It's like little fibers. And so I'm just using a nail file,
Exactly, yeah.
and it's enough to just smooth out these edges. And I'll just run that right along there. There we go. Smooth the edges out. And do it on the top as well. So then I usually wait until I have it at this stage before I varnish the whole thing. Now you could choose to got one spot here. You could choose to paint the sides if you wanted to. You can leave them natural, whatever your preference is. I don't have a 5x7 um, um, a 5x7 float frame. mine all have paintings in them and I couldn't get any of them out. Um, but do I have a float frame to show you? I probably do.
So you put yours in a float frame.
Yeah, I usually do.
That's that's good.
Um, and I'm looking for, well, I have a painting in a float frame I can show you. How's that?
I
So,
like that idea. I don't want it ever, I don't push put them in there.
okay. So this painting is a totally different thing,
Nice.
but this painting's in a float frame.
Yes.
And so what happens is the panel just sits in the frame. It has a lip in here, and you just put your panel in. And this is a ampersand float frame. It's one of my favorite. And then it just fits in with 4 screws. You can also, I know that Terry gets her frames from Franken Frame in Tennessee. I've looked on their website; they have really reasonable prices, and they have them in all different colors, natural wood. So if I was going to do that and put it in the black float frame, I would paint the sides black, just so it kind of melded in. And then in order to finish it with varnish, and I am looking, I bought a whole new thing of varnish here. I actually like the matte varnish the best. And so usually you have to stir this up, but this one doesn't say it has to be stirred up. So with the matte varnish, I usually use a very soft brush, and I try to use a fairly large brush so I don't have brush marks. And so I don't think this piece has been finished. So I'll just open this up. It's a brand new bottle. And I'm using Liquitex. There's various other brands. Lori, do you have a favorite brand of varnish?
I do. I usually like to use Liquitex
Okay.
just because I have the Mod Podge out and this is just a, kind of a crafty project on my end. I'm just going,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I'm just going to use the Mod Podge again on top.
That's a good idea. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of this varnish on, and I'm just going to, so varnish, basically, you don't want to go over it too many times. Um, I need a little more, because you don't want to have it can, I think it can turn cloudy if you go over it too many times, or you'll see some brush marks. So I just want a little bit of varnish, and I'll just have some nice smooth brush strokes. And the varnish will bring out all the colors in the painting.
And you said you're using a matte varnish.
This one I'm using matte. I have gloss as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I find that, yeah, I mean, it looks glossy going on. I find that people, when I sell my artwork, people tend to like the matte.
Well, yeah, because you can probably see it and there's not the glare. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I'm just touching up the sides. Now I'll probably paint the sides and put this in a float frame when I get new ones. So I'm not going to varnish the sides.
Well, that's beautiful. Your piece is
Um,
beautiful.
oh, thanks. I painted this. I must have painted it 5 or 6 years ago, and I was going
Wow.
through to
I
see.
love it.
It's hard to see now, but yeah. And I was going through all of my paintings to say what could I mount today. And I was like, oh yeah, I have those.
I love that.
Thank you. It's kind of abstract. You can tell that there's flowers in it, but the background is really abstract. And there's lots of it looks like I cut into this when I was painting it too, so it has some interesting texture in it. So the varnish, I'll just leave that to dry. I don't know how long this takes to dry, but I usually just let them sit overnight when I do these two before I go on to the next step.
Right. And
So
I think with mine, I'm actually, like I said, mine is not meant to be a like fine art piece. Mine is more of a craft project here.
yeah,
It
no, it's
might
good.
turn out to be a fine art piece, but I can take one of my markers and kind of color the sides black while it's drying to give it a
Yes.
look.
If I paint on tiles, um like if I paint on a ceramic tile, and of course I'm using alcohol ink at that point, but I will use a thick Sharpie marker to paint the sides of the tile.
Yeah.
And then I'll paint the back with I have some black glossy paint that I paint the backs with, but it's much easier to get those sides with a marker
Mm-hmm.
and have some, nice even coverage.
Right. The other thing I have, and I'm trying to see if I have it handy, is I have a wide nibbed Posca pen.
Ah,
And that
yes,
works
that would
great.
work.
That works great too. I'm trying to
Hmm.
have it handy. I had it here like yesterday. Oh well. I'll continue with my marker.
Yeah. So, just to recap, any of the products you can use to glue is, as Lori said, Mod Podge. I have Utrecht gloss gel. I'm not sure why I have that brand, but I do. But you can use gloss gel, or you can use matte gel. Just make sure it has, it's that thicker substance. Using the liquid mediums are too thin and it's going to soak into your paper and you're not going to get that nice adhesion. So, and that's it. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
That looks great, Lori. I really like that. Are you going to put something on that after it
Yeah,
dries?
I figured I'll probably do some sort of I'll probably continue on with the mixed media piece on top
Uh-huh.
and just use this as my kind of my base.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
So I'm added a piece before it's a finished work of art. Let's put it that way.
Uh-huh. That's okay too. So,
So yeah, I'm just going through this.
yeah. So all you need is your medium. I have a file just in case your edges need to be smoothed out, an X-Acto knife. I like to roll them, as I mentioned, with the brayer, and use some wax paper, or as Lori's did, a piece of paper to put over your painting when you uh, mount it so that the painting itself doesn't get damaged. Any other tips, Lori?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is, and I knew this going into it, using a marker on wood, there's all these kind of grains and stuff that you know that alcohol markers are, they don't work as great on porous surfaces and wood is porous.
Yes.
So it would be better if you did have an acrylic pen. And like I said, I usually use that wide nibbed Posca pen, the black Posca,
Mhm.
and it just goes on like butter. And so
Mhm.
that's what I would recommend rather than what I actually demonstrated here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you probably just need to put another coat after of
exactly.
marker, right?
I'll have to go back around again because you can
Yeah.
kind of see what I'm talking about there. See
Yeah,
that?
it's soaking in on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is kind of neat because I'll be able, when have my finished work, I already have a display
Those are pretty cool. Where'd you find them?
at Dollar Tree.
Oh, a Dollar Tree. Okay, I haven't seen that
Yeah.
Dollar Tree.
Yeah. Do you have one near you, Corinne?
We have a dollar store,
Oh,
but
okay.
not a Dollar Tree. So, um, it's always sometimes there's stuff in there and sometimes
Right.
there's not.
Well, and that's the other thing is you can't really, with Dollar Tree, you can't necessarily depend on it always having the same thing because I could go in there today and it wouldn't have these anymore. So
Right.
I grabbed
Right.
a handful of them when I saw them before. I thought those were cute, would make some great projects.
Hmm. So, okay, so we are good. Trying to think what we're doing next month.
We're doing gel prints next month.
Ooh,
And
fun.
yeah, so I'll be leading that. And we're actually going
Okay.
to start off exploring next week we realized that not everyone has gel plates, and our whole month is
Okay.
one gel printing. So we're going to explore some alternatives to gel plate printing, and we're going to compare them with gel. So
Okay.
we're gonna use some different types of surfaces to create prints with doing transfers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So just let us know ahead of time what we need,
Okay. Well,
so we can be sure. But that sounds like a lot of fun. Yes, you're right, because not everybody has a gel plate, and they can be a little pricey.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah, we want to give everyone alternatives because you can still create some really awesome things even if you don't have a gel plate. You may not be able to do all of the things that we're going to demonstrate during the month, but you will be able to improvise.
yes, yes, always good to learn to use the tools that we have, because heavens knows usually have enough of
Exactly.
them.
Exactly.
So, okay, everyone. Well, our half hour is up. And so you can find us on exploremixedmedia.com. We have about a year's worth of content on our website now. We have an opportunity to be a member for only $7 a month. You can join, and not only will you have access to the YouTube sessions, but we do one private session with our members live per month for an hour and work on a project. And then there's a pre-recorded project as well. And there's other resources on the website for you as
Exactly.
well.
So there's a lot of helpful resources in the patronage group there. And yeah, it's the deal of the century, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
especially with
you
a
get
year's worth of content
yeah,
available.
you get access immediately to all of last year's content in addition to all that we're going to present this year. So,
Right. And you can always ask us questions. If you're working on a project and you need some help, you can always contact us through the website, and one of the three of us can give you a hand.
right.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Lori, and thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you next Friday. And Lori, I'm looking forward to your leading the collage paper on various, making collage paper on various surfaces.
Yeah. Say thank you, Corinne. Looking
Thank
forward.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.